Well, hey, it's Matt here, Matt Burton with Savant AI, and I'm trying something new with you in the LinkedIn community. This is a LinkedIn Live, and I'm calling it the AI Storytime, Storytime at 9 with Savant AI. There are two books I have in front of me tonight, and one is by a friend of mine, author Perry Carpenter. See if I can give you a quick look at what that book looks like. So there it is. It's the book Fake, a practical guide to living in a world of deep fakes, disinformation, and AI generated deceptions by Perry Carpenter. So we're going to try reading some selections from that book. And then we're also going to have a look at another book by the author Ethan Mollick, professor at Wharton, at the Wharton School. And we're looking at his book, Co-Intelligence, Living and Working with AI, published by Penguin Random House. So those are the books. I have in front of me just one page open. For anybody that's new to AI, this may be useful. Just to start with a bit of historical information about this moment that we're living in. So we're just reading here, reading and commenting. The breakthrough moment, how attention changed everything. This is page 21 of Perry's book. In 2017, researchers at Google Brain were onto something big. And I'm testing my live stream. So I got you here, audience, and I got my LinkedIn Live over there. Very cool. Yeah, kind of a noob at this. So 2017, researchers at Google Brain were onto something big. They published a study entitled Attention is All You Need, and it changed everything about how machines learn and reproduce our language. You could say it was transformational. It was an unveiling akin to the first flight, a moment signaling a new epoch for machines learning our language. Before this, imagine AI as a frazzled student in a library, desperate to memorize a semester's worth of information overnight. Or think of that friend you have that starts a story, then veers off course and forgets what they were talking about, never really coming back to the point. Yeah, AI was like that. Then came the transformer model, which is what was introduced in that paper. The model enabled attention, which is just a fancy way of saying that AI learned to focus like a detective on a case, paying attention, paying attention to one clue at a time to solve a big mystery. Or it's like your friend suddenly remembers the concept of their story and is able to stick to it, remembering that they already said what they already said and not wandering too far from the conversational path. Attention gave AI the power to concentrate on specific parts of information while also keeping the big picture in view. This was huge. This is the moment when everything changed. This is back, as he said, this is back in 2017 at Google. Transformer models gave rise to advanced models like BERT, bidirectional encoder representation from transformers, and GPT, generative pre-trained transformers. BERT excels in understanding the nuances of language by analyzing the context of words from both directions before and after in a sentence. On the other hand, GPT generates human like text by predicting the next word in a sentence, having learned from a vast expanse of literature and websites. So it wasn't long before the benefits transcended language. The attention driven approach is now helping AI to unravel complex patterns in everything from image recognition to scientific discoveries, proving to be an indispensable asset in our toolkit. This paper was a testament to innovation, showing that sometimes the brightest leaps forward come from reimagining the fundamentals, teaching AI to pay attention, where to pay attention. That was not just a step, but a giant leap towards machines that could truly understand and interact. It all started with a simple idea: attention. So, this is page 21 of the book. And what Perry's doing is weaving into the book some history so that we have context, so that we as readers and people newer to AI, so that we know where to pay attention. The reality is AI has been around us for many years. Um, it was around us in invisible ways. It was there observing our shopping patterns, our dating patterns, our friendship patterns. Look at any dating site and the logic behind the swipes and the matches that are made, right? Look at everything that happened at Netflix as our preferences were being understood on Netflix or Amazon Prime. Look at our shopping on Amazon and what Amazon knows about us. So AI was behind the scenes, paying attention, highly engineered to know us and know how the products presented to us could be personalized with greater accuracy over time. This gets political. Politics are influenced, obvious. Learn about the people you're serving. Think about Facebook. Then you know what ads to serve them, true or fake. So, this book, FAIK, A Practical Guide to Living in a World of Deepfakes, Disinformation, and AI Generated Deceptions. This, and we're going to see if my camera can pick it up. See how that works. Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of crinkly there. But this book is important because the world of cybersecurity and the need to protect ourselves has shifted with what these new forms of AI have brought us. So AI was in the background learning about us, but that paper in 2017 then led to, you can say indirectly or directly, it led to the formation of OpenAI, where people were recruited out of Google to go to a new company and set up artificial intelligence systems that became what we know as ChatGPT in November of 2022. So 4 or 5 years later, 2022, November, ChatGPT is released into the world. And with it, things come right in front of our face. They're not sort of hidden in the background with systems presenting us information on Netflix or Amazon products to buy. It comes right in front of us, and the tools are given, you could say, broadly, democratically, without any gating. There's no real gatekeepers. It's free, or the pro version is $20 a month, which is also low cost. So anyone can get their hands on very powerful tools. And what does that do to the world? And Perry's book comes at a really important time to tell us it does some things. It puts a lot of power in people's hands. So now I'm looking at the introduction to Perry's book, and it says, Introduction. Riddle me this, ChatGPT. Me, me. Riddle me this. How can you know what's real when anything and everything can be faked? ChatGPT is the answer. It's a chatbot, right? This is a conversation. So it's a fascinating quandary, isn't it? The question touches on deep philosophical concerns as well as practical ones. In a world where technology, that's one of those AI phrases, in a world where, like Hollywood, in a world where technology can generate convincing illusions, we are reminded to question the authenticity of what we perceive, To discern what's real, we often rely on context, important word, context, corroborating evidence, and critical thinking. It's a reminder to be vigilant, to seek truth amidst the illusions, and to value what's genuine. But before we dive deeper, let's clarify, says the bot to the person. Let's clarify. Um, are we speaking metaphorically, or is there something specific about reality you're questioning? Me, says Perry. Oh, I should have said, I'm writing a book about AI and how we are hurtling toward a world where we won't be able to tell the difference between what's real and what isn't. Which brings up another question. How can I best talk about a technology as transformative as AI? How can I talk about this technology without getting too technical? I'll be honest. Writing a book on AI is a daunting task given the frenzied pace of achievement and change. Sorry, advancement and change. The pace isn't just rapid, it's exponential. Breakthroughs today may be old news tomorrow. In my lifetime, I've witnessed the birth and adoption of the internet, the shift from landlines to cellular, and the transition from ultra slow dial up modems that sounded like screaming robots to cable and fiber optic internet services. I've seen the move from on premise mainframes to cloud computing, the iPhone moment for mobile phones, and the demise of blockbuster video in favor of streaming services like Netflix. However, I've never seen advancement and adoption at the pace we've experienced with AI since the Chat GPT moment in November 2022. That was the day the world realized that many things once dreamed of in science fiction movies are either already here or probably just around the corner. When it comes to those sci fi movies, people can take their pick. Some see the benevolent human and computer interaction between Tony Stark and Jarvis, or the beautiful or the helpful yet indifferent computer interactions in Star Trek. Others envision doomsday scenarios like those depicted in Terminator and The Matrix. But no matter who you talk to, everyone agrees that AI is changing everything. So, in a field that moves at such breakneck speed, capturing anything of lasting value is a challenge. How is it possible to write a book that won't be obsolete by the time it's sitting happily on a shelf in local bookstores? Yeah, I could keep going with that, but I promised to read a little bit from Ethan Mollick's book, Co-Intelligence, and I had in my mind that I would do this for 15 minutes. So let's look just at the beginning of Co-Intelligence and see what Ethan says about these same moments in time. And again, I know showing the book that way doesn't work too well, but this is Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick, and his introduction says, 3 sleepless nights. I believe the cost of getting to know AI, really getting to know AI, is at least 3 sleepless nights. After a few hours of using generative AI systems, there will come a moment when you realize that large language models, the new form of AI that powers services like ChatGPT, don't act like you expect a computer to act. Instead, they act more like a person. It dawns on you. It dawns on you that you are interacting with something new, something alien, and things are about to change. You stay up, equal parts excited and nervous, wondering, what will my job be like? What job will my kids be able to do? Is this thing thinking? You go back to your computer in the middle of the night and make seemingly impossible requests only to. I haven't read this yet. You make impossible requests only to see the AI fulfill them. This is what my friend Kyle Shannon calls Kevin McAllister moments. These are just the mind-blowing moments. The first time I had one was in November of 2022. I lived in Half Moon Bay, California with my wife. I had downloaded ChatGPT. I said, "Babe, this thing can write poetry. I swear it can." And she said, "Well, what if we wrote what if we wrote about our favorite little stray cat? We lived over by the ocean in a neighborhood by these golf courses, and somebody nearby in the condominiums had an orange cat that seemed like a real troublemaker. So my wife Deb called the cat Lucifer, um, sort of playfully. So we wrote this story about Lucifer, the orange cat that was a troublemaker, but had a good heart and was always roaming around the neighborhood. And I said, ChatGPT, would you write a Christmas poem about this cat we love that we see from our front windows? Write a story about this cat, make it a beat poem. And my mind was blown. I should read that next time in story time. It was a beat poem for Christmas about the cat. Anyway, back to Ethan. You make these wild requests only to see the AI fulfill them. You realize the world has changed in fundamental ways that nobody can really tell you what the future will look like. Though I am not a computer scientist, I am an academic studying innovation who has long been involved in work on the applications of AI, especially for learning. Over the years, AI has promised much more than it has delivered. For decades, AI research has always seemed to be on the edge of a massive breakthrough, but most practical uses, from self driving cars to personalized tutoring, always advanced grindingly slowly. During this time, I kept experimenting with AI tools, including OpenAI's GPT models, figuring out ways to incorporate them into my work, and assigning my students to use AI in class. So my sleepless nights came early, just after the release of ChatGPT in November of 2022. After only a few hours, only a couple of hours, it was clear that something huge had shifted between the previous iterations of GPT and this new one. 4 days after the AI was launched, I decided to demonstrate this new tool to my undergraduate entrepreneurship class. Barely anyone had heard of it. In front of my students, I put on a show demonstrating how AI can help generate ideas, write business plans, turn those business plans into poems. Not that there is a lot of demand for that, and generally fill the role of company co founder. By the end of class, one of my students, Kirill Naumoff, had created a working demo by the end of class, had created a working demo for his entrepreneurship project, a Harry Potter inspired moving picture frame that reacted to people walking near it using a code library he had never used before in less than half the time it would otherwise have taken. He had venture capital scouts reaching out to him by the end of the next day. Let's just stop there. I mean, this shit is cool. And that's my story time for tonight. What's the date? October 7th, October 16th, Wednesday, 9:19 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come back tomorrow. Let's read some more then. Thanks for joining us. This is Matt Burton at Savant AI. Have a good night.